Axel caught it, fingers trembling. "Thank you," he managed, voice low. Sasha gave him one last faint smile and turned toward the north side of the platform, her silhouette sharp against the dim, overcast light. Axel watched her begin to move away. 10 meters, 20, 30. The emptiness of the space pressed between them like a living thing. Then it happened. From beyond the edge of the rails, a figure appeared, emerging suddenly from the shadows of a derailed train. It lunged with violent speed, a blur against the muted light. Sasha hadn't seen it until the last moment. She froze for a heartbeat, then swung her crossbow, striking. But the blow was deflected, ineffective. Axel's heart lurched. He wanted to run to her, to scream, to help. But the gap had already grown. 40 meters, 50. Each step he could take would be blocked by the writhing, grasping forms emerging from behind train cars and debris, drawn by the commotion. Sasha dodged, firing again, then ducked behind a low stack of pallets. Blood spattered the wet wood as the figure slammed into her. Axel's vision narrowed, every detail etched into him, her jacket shredded, her hair plastered with rain and blood, her arm raised instinctively in defense. She pushed, kicked, tried to create space, but the undead pressed in relentlessly, forming a chaotic wall between him and her. "No!" he shouted, gripping the hatchet. He ran, lunging toward her, but the distance seemed to stretch impossibly. Every step brought new obstacles, overturned crates, puddles sucking at his boots, rail ties slick with rain and oil. The crowd of undead closed in around her, their dragging, groaning bodies filling the space like a living tide. Axel swung the hatchet blindly, striking one, then another. But for every body felled, 3 more advanced. He was forced back, pressed against the edge of the platform. The sound of Sasha's struggles reached him in broken, ragged bursts. Her voice shouted once, twice, then muffled by the crushing press of bodies. She looked back at him once. Just once. Her eyes locked on his, and in them he saw everything. Warning, understanding, the unspoken apology for what he could not prevent. The figure slammed into her again, dragging her down behind the pallets. The undead around her surged to fill the space, fingers clawing, teeth gnashing. Axel's fingers clenched around the hatchet so tightly that the plastic cut into his palm. He wanted to scream, to reach her, to stop it, but it was impossible. She was swallowed by the tide, the distance between them insurmountable. He turned, he ran. He didn't stop until the sounds were distant, until the tracks stretched ahead of him, until his lungs burned and his legs threatened to give out. When he finally collapsed behind a derailed carriage, the world felt impossibly quiet again. Axel fell to his knees. His chest heaved. Rain plastered his hair to his face. The city seemed impossibly quiet now. The only sound, the dripping water, and the faint echo of groans fading into the distance. He stayed there, pressed against the cold metal of a derailed carriage, stomach twisting, mind numb. The pack of painkillers still clutched in his hand, useless against the hollow ache that had nothing to do with his wounds. Sasha was gone. The rails stretched endlessly east toward Stafford, toward home, alone. Axel drew a shaky breath, wiped blood and rain from his face, and stepped forward again, one cautious foot in front of the other. The journey had changed. The cost had been written clearly across the wet concrete, and he would carry it with him forever. Chapter 8. A new danger. Axel moved along the rail lines with deliberate steps. Every tie beneath his boots was soaked with rain and mud, the wood slick and unforgiving. He kept his hatchet in one hand, the other resting lightly on his shoulder, scanning every shadow, every hollow beneath the rails. The tracks stretched ahead, straight and unbroken, cut through a valley with steep embankments. The rain had eased, leaving a dull, grey mist that blurred the edges of the landscape. Axel's legs ached and his feet blistered, but he had to carry on. He rounded a curve in the track and froze. Up ahead, silhouetted against the pale, misty sky, a bridge arched over the rails. On it, a small group had gathered. Axel's stomach knotted as he realized what they were doing. He remembered back to movies where humans turned on humans for supplies years after outbreaks, but just 2 weeks. 2 figures were being hoisted over the side, ropes looped tightly around their necks. The bodies swung, kicking, jerking in the weak wind, and the others on the bridge laughed or shouted, voices ragged and cruel. Their boots clanged against the metal as they maneuvered, careful with the ropes, precise in their violence. Axel's throat tightened. He could see the fear etched on the faces of those being thrown over, the useless struggle, the desperation.